is overcast at the corner of 20th and Blake Street as we welcome you inside Coors Field. Game 2 of this 4-game set between the Rockies and the Cincinnati Reds. Not only have the Rockies lost 3 straight, they have lost 3 straight against the Reds, a team they've had a lot of success against through the years, particularly here at Coors Field. So there's John Gray taking the Coors Field mound. And the big product, the University of Oklahoma, looking for his 3rd career victory. And initially, the Reds rolled out the same lineup as yesterday. I mean, why not? They produced 11 runs and 17 hits, but then Brandon Phillips was a late scratch, so they had to reconfigure the lineup. Here is the new Southwest batting order for Brian Price. Zach Cozart again will lead it off. He had a home run on the first pitch of the game yesterday. Billy Hamilton was originally batting 7th. He's in the 2 spot. Votto slides from 2 to 3. Duvall hit 2 home runs yesterday. Jay Bruce will bat 5th. Eugenio Suarez will bat 6th. Jordan Pacheco slides into the lineup. He was not in the original grouping. He'll be at second base batting in front of Tucker Barnhart. And then John Moscott, just coming off the disabled list. So the numbers on John Gray making his 8th start.
And we talked about it a moment ago, getting his first road win at Boston, picked up a home victory earlier this year. He has allowed 10 runs in the first inning in 7 starts, and I think that's been good. We saw what happened yesterday, so look for that to see if they ambush the fastball early in this start for John, or does he start him off with the slider that was so effective in the Boston game? I think that's a key here early in this ball game.
Well, they certainly ambushed Chad Bettis, but that's kind of true to form, Huey, as you pointed out yesterday. It is one of the more aggressive teams in the National League.
And it starts from the top, works all the way to the bottom. So it's not really just one guy, Zach Cozart, who leads it off. Lowest pitches per plate appearance that you're going to see in the National League. He sits, or in all of baseball, excuse me. He sits right now at 10th.
Cozart had been slumping, but how about his confidence yesterday? He said, I felt like I was going to hit a home run in my first at bat.
It's pretty nice when you think that, and then it happens.
Here's the first pitch of the game. Where's that? At 96, taken by Cozart. Looked like it was at the top of the zone, called ball 1. So Gray with the real simple setup, and he's got that fastball on by Cozart. The home run for Cozart yesterday, his first career home run against the Rockies, just a lifetime .211 hitter against Colorado pitching. Tony Walters sets up over the outside corner, and that's lined to left center field. Parra cuts it off, and John Gray gives up a leadoff single. Here the Rockies defensively, their normal outfield of Parra, Blackman, and Cargo. And Nolan, after getting yesterday off his first day off in 2016, he's back at 3rd. Story, LeMahieu, Descalso swinging the bat so well. He's got another start, this time at first base. Mark Reynolds will take the evening off. And Tony Walters is behind the plate. So here's Billy Hamilton. Now you really got to guard against the bunt. Kind of the 2-way bunt, Huey.
We saw him yesterday pull one with him to first base, and he beat the pitcher, and DJ tried to flip it kind of underhand over to first. But Billy's so adept at dropping him down the third base line and his speed.
I think it's a 3-pitch, even with 2 strikes, he may lay down a bunt here. He's only got 1 strike right now, but
he's not afraid to do it.
Nope. Inside. Billy Hatcher, an old friend of yours from playing against him in high school, flashing the signs at 3rd.
Way back. We were talking about high school.
There's Billy. You got to tell that story.
I'll tell the story later on in the ball game about Mr. Hatcher.
One and 2. So Nolan's going to drop back.
But
he's not going to drop back as far as he normally would.
And normally he would be back 5 or 6 steps onto the dirt. But with Billy's speed, you can't afford to do that.
He's swinging, and it's chopped foul. He had that perfect bunt yesterday. And I was talking to him today about that, and he said, I put down a couple this year. I thought, okay, that's a hit, and guys will make a spectacular play.
We talked with some Cincinnati people prior to yesterday's game, and they were relaying that same information, that it doesn't matter where he went, whether it was towards the first base line or to third base. Those guys are just making off balance throws and throwing Billy out. And I said, most of the time the case is you start to rush those things with the guy with Billy's speed. He'll throw it away.
1-2 on Hamilton. Cozart not really a stolen base threat. And that's up the middle, should be 2. Even with Hamilton running, it will be. Great job by Trevor Story. That's about the only way you're going to turn 2 against Hamilton.
Right, because you're pinched in the middle with Billy. You're already shaded up towards the grass more because of Billy, and then he hits it back up the middle. I mean, yeah, we talk about tailor-made double plays. With somebody has speed like Hamilton, that's tailor-made because you can still step on the bag and then throw to first base to get him. Trevor, step with his right foot and off balance. And then see how close that still was.
Yeah, how many double plays he grounded into before that one this year?
1. 0.
Zippo. Joey Votto broke out a little bit yesterday with a 2-run double and a solo home run. And he takes on the inside corner for a strike. He victimized Jason Mott late in the ball game yesterday.
A home run 200 for Joey Votto in his career. Climbing up the list all time.
Curveball first he's thrown tonight. That looked pretty good too. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's the all-time Reds home run list. Name that always jumps out at me on that list, George Foster. He had 244 home runs. Jay Bruce isn't all that far from George Foster. Remember the year he hit 50? When if you hit 30, it was a huge year.
And sometimes even 20 or 25, you were considered a power guy.
That's right at Nolan. That'll end the inning. So John Gray gave up the lead single, but got Billy Hamilton, of all people, to ground into a double play. Five-game stretch in which he's reached in every game. In fact, he's hit 23 of those 25. That's how good Charlie has been of late. You know, when he scores a run, generally means the Rockies are going to win. Southwest batting order for Walt Weiss this evening. DJ will bat second. Nolan back in the lineup. He'll bat third tonight. Cargo will bat fourth. Trevor Story in the 5-hole for the first time. He was 6 yesterday. Then it's Parra, Descalso, 3 more hits yesterday. And Tony Walters batting 8th in front of John Gray. And another John, who spells his name J-O-N, John Moscott, just off the disabled list with left shoulder inflammation. Right. Not his throwing shoulder, his shoulder that he dislocated a year ago. In a rundown at Detroit where he fell on it and had to have surgery. And so for Moscott, this is just his first start since April 27th. Not an overpowering guy. You see the numbers, 91 tops on the fastball. This ball hammered. Take a good look. You won't see it for long. Back-to-back ball games Cubs. Charlie Blackmon leads off with a blast.
Make that 15 career games that he's led off with a home run. Both of them, yesterday's and today, were no doubters off the bat. That's how you put the one marker on the board early. 89 miles an hour. I told you he's not overpowering. Subaru Supermo just squares it up on the meat part of the bat. Sweet spot. Off the back end of the bullpen.
Yeah, that was crushed. That was just a high drive. That wasn't those majestic fly balls. That's as hard a ball as Charlie's hit all year, and he's hit a bunch of balls on the nose. This ball is lined to deep left, and it is going to short hop the wall. Duvall will play it back in. Home run, and now a double off the battle of Mayhew.
That's what you needed to do, to come out with your hitting shoes on.
John Moscott feeling like, man, that DL wasn't such a bad place to be.
Right, I've given up a home run and then a screaming double to DJ. Slider. The left fielder, Adam Duvall, thought he might have a play on for a moment, and then the only play he had was chasing it down off the wall.
DJ now with a 10-game hitting streak. He's at 323 during that stretch. So here's Nolan. He was in the on-deck circle in the 9th inning yesterday. Had Garneau reached, that's inside, he would have represented the tying run, and the inning began with the Rockies trailing 11-5. Cargo hit the 2-run home run. Descalso drove in another run. All of a sudden, Nolan, if he comes up, could really play hero. Unfortunately, Garneau hit a fly ball to right to end it. This ball's ripped high and deep left field, way back. She's gone. 2-run shot, Nolan Arenado. 3-0 Rockies.
Nolan gets a day off yesterday, comes out today, says, I'm refreshed and rejuvenated, I'm ready to go. 6 pitches into this ball game, you had 2 home runs and a double. Another just sweet swing on the Subaru Supermo. Staying behind the baseball, and then the high finish.
And now John Moscott's going to look up, and he's going to see one of the hottest hitters in baseball at the plate, Cargo. Ball 1. 3 absolute missiles. Called strike at 89. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cargo's got an 8-game hitting streak going, batting .500 during that stretch. How about this, Huey? For the 6th time in his career, he has homered in 3 straight games.
Off left-handers too. I mean, that's what's impressive to me, because Cargo has just gotten that swing back. Back-to-back days with Osich from San Francisco.
This is a line shot to left, and it ends up in Duvall's glove for the first out for John Moscott. Quickly, because we haven't had many moments here where the ball has been flying around. We'll set the defense for you. Duvall, Hamilton, and Bruce. Suarez, Cozart, Pacheco at second. Jordan very versatile. Joey Votto is naturally at first base. Tucker Barnhart is behind the plate. Good to see Jordan. Here's Story. And a called strike. Home plate umpire is Mark Wegner. Ryan Blakeney's at first. Marty Foster at second. Mike Winters is at third base.
They all have their gear today too, because they have their number on their jackets or their shirts.
Finally arrived.
Yeah, yesterday a couple of them didn't have it. Marty Foster for sure didn't have his. Their equipment was late arriving to the ballpark.
Trevor. 4 for his last 28 at the plate. And this is pulled into the seats foul. Nice to see the sun overhead.
It is. Report coming in today, so we might get a little of that. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to jinx it.
On the ground, deep short, and the long throw will get Story by a step. Good play by Zach Cozart. Help from Joey Votto. 2 outs, and that'll bring up Parra. Fans at the Rockies score 7 or more, as they did yesterday. Go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day. Make sure you do it between 4 and 6 in the evening to get your Rockies taco special. Live Mas at Taco Bell. Home run double, 2-run home run. That's how the Rockies have begun this ball game. Up 3-0. Yesterday they blew a 4-run lead. In the third, they're up 5-1.
That's why I think going back to that top half of the first inning to get that double play ground ball after you had the leadoff single, get out of that inning without giving up a run. On this offense, yeah, it was after what happened yesterday.
Parra lines one to the gap in right center field. And he'll end up at second. Hamilton kept it from going to the wall, but still an easy double for Parra, who has been Mr. Double this year. For Gerardo, his 17th two-bagger.
That puts him second behind Gregory Polanco, who has 18 doubles. Boy, we keep showing on the Subaru Supermo where these pitches are. All of them are just center cut, belt high, right over the middle of the plate.
That'll bring up Daniel Descalso. He had everything on the button yesterday. Descalso back up the middle, on through, base hit, stay hot. Here comes Parra. Here's the throw by Hamilton, not in time. 4-0 Colorado. I think when Walt went home last night, among knowing that he was going to put Arenado naturally back in the lineup and Cargo and all the regulars, he probably had, there's no way I'm taking Descalso out.
I can't take him out after the day he had yesterday. It gives him an opportunity to get Mark Reynolds off his feet. Walt's trying to do that for a lot of different guys. Daniel up the middle, just continues to hit barrage. 5th hit of the inning, 4th run, another RBI, 7 RBIs on this season for Daniel in just his 9th game. A couple of those have just been pinch hit appearances.
Exactly.
Because this is just his 6th major league start at first base in his career.
That'll bring up Tony Walters. By the way, the double for Parra was his 199th career double. And his close friend Cargo just had his 200th double earlier in the week. We say it all the time, Huey. If you're in that 88 to 91 mile an hour range, unless you have dramatic movement, you have to be so fine with your arsenal.
Or one of those Bugs Bunny change-ups or some sort of magnificent off-speed pitch.
Yes.
You have to have
something
to counter the bats of an 88 to 91, because so many guys now, as we talk about every night, they throw 95 miles an hour. So that's kind of where your eyes are trained to go. When somebody's even just throwing 90, 91, it just seems like it slows down twofold to a hitter.
Well, again, we've discussed this before. Huey, in your era, I always say era like you played 400 years ago. It wasn't that long ago, but the average major league fastball is up 2 miles an hour. What you're saying is guys have adjusted, so 95 is what maybe 93 used to be.
Exactly right. And now, so guys make that adjustment. They understand. You know, I was having this conversation with Justin Miller yesterday in the locker room, and we were talking about fastballs. He goes, yeah, all these kids coming up now throwing 98, 99. I said, yeah. Back in the, in the 90s, I guess the best way to put it, somebody would throw 95, and that was considered one of the top end guys.
Sure. Calso, pretty conservative lead. He goes back 2-2 on Walters. Calso, 4 ribbies yesterday, 1 shy of his career high in a game. He had 5 back in his Cardinal days. And this ball's pulled to right. It's fair. Calso's going to pick up Stu Cole. He gets a green light. And Daniel's going to score easily on a double by Tony Walters. 5-0 Colorado. Couldn't have scripted a better start.
6th double of the season for Tony Walters. The train just keeps chugging along with this 5 runs. Well, there it goes again. It doesn't matter where he's throwing that fastball. It seems to find the middle of the barrel of the bat and the middle of the zone.
Think of the 2 outs that have been recorded. Cargo, a line shot at Duvall and left, and then Story's pretty hard ground ball deep in the hole that Cozart fielded. John Gray probably didn't think he was going to get an at-bat in the first inning, hopeful that he would. It's always good when the pitcher hits in the first inning on your team. 1-1, 5 runs, 6 hits. Called strike 1 and 2.
A missed sign too, because Tucker Barnhart trucking out to the mound. He threw me a slider. That's not what I was expecting. See that go to the backstop many times.
Yep. This is the biggest first inning of the year for the Rockies. They have not been a terribly prolific team in the first frame. Gray strikes out on a slider, and that's all for John Moscott, but he witnessed the Rockies throw line drives all over the park. A couple of them landed over the wall. Charlie Blackmon back-to-back days with a leadoff home run. Welcome back, Nolan Arenado, a 2-run shot. 5-0 Rockies. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by your hometown Toyota stores, Toyota Let's Go Places, and by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Well, John Gray in that little town there beyond the Evergreens has been staked to a 5-0 lead. Got Charlie Felix up there on I-70.
Sure it is. I know he was just up at the Boulder yesterday shooting some work. He was in Cooperstown with Spilly and Ryan Morrison over the weekend, along with us in Boston.
He's everywhere.
Man about town.
Yep. First pitch to Adam Duvall, misses down low. Duvall had a big day yesterday, and he's had quite a month of May. He had 2 home runs yesterday. First career 2-home run game for him. He's hit 11 home runs in May. Now, this being the final day of May, to set the club record for home runs in a month, he'd really have to be special. He'd need to hit 5 tonight. That hasn't been done.
Yeah, that's.
Oh. On the follow through, Tony Walters got hit. Duvall checking on him. 1-2. Guy we got to know during his career because he's a former Denver Zephyr as well. Greg Vaughn in 1999 in September hit 16 home runs for the Reds.
That doesn't surprise me with Vaughn. Duvall with the big follow through. He was apologetic to Tony.
And he gets the bat shattered on one hop. A lot of spin on that. And Descalso flips it across to John Gray, 1 out. That'll bring up Jay Bruce.
Well, in the original lineup, Jay Bruce was scheduled to hit 4th today. They slid him to the 5 spot.
Again, Brandon Phillips, who took BP out on the field. I talked to him for a while, and that foot acted up from the other day. He made the catch up against the wall in the Milwaukee series.
Just shows you what kind of gamer Brandon Phillips is.
Yeah, if he's going to come out, I mean, he's one of those guys. He doesn't come out. He plays every day.
No, it was barking pretty good if he was in the original lineup and then couldn't go. A lot of respect for him as a player.
Yep, this ball is lined over the head of Descalso. Cargo's got a long run, and Bruce is going to have a double.
Take you back to Sunday and Brandon Phillips' entry in Milwaukee. He tried to stop, but then watch his foot go into the concrete underneath the padding. Try to hobble. And that's also when he goes to land, that's his front foot that he lands on, so he can't get a good base.
He actually stayed in the game.
I know.
And then last night they thought he was iffy whether he would play. He did play, and he came out in the latter part of the game. 1 out. Eugenio Suarez, he homered yesterday. 5 home runs for the Reds yesterday. 17 hits. The last 3 games, 2 performances by the Giants and yesterday by Cincinnati. 29 runs against this Rocky staff and 50 hits.
No need to relive that nightmare.
Two and 0.
4 of the 5 home runs for Cincinnati yesterday were to lead off an inning. 1 to lead off the game.
Yeah, only the 2nd time in Colorado Rockies history had that happened, where there was a home run leading off the game, and then in the bottom of the 1st there was a home run. Last time it was Bernard Gilkey and Trinidad Hubbard. DJ crosses to the left side, and he just did get Suarez, we think.
I think he got him. I just think it was a wonderful communication between DJ and Trevor Story, because DJ called him off, and then the pick and throw to first base. Subaru Supermo. Oh, yeah,
he's clearly
that's easy.
out. Yep. Suarez stood over there for a while, hopeful, but no, he was out by plenty.
Yeah. No bobble.
No bobble. 2 outs, and that'll bring up Pacheco. Jordan has 48 at-bats this year.
The only non-roster player for Cincinnati that came into spring training to make their ball club.
There's a strike. Do you remember Pacheco with the Rockies? That year he qualified at over 500 plate appearances. He finished 5th in the league in hitting. That at 309, I believe.
He was throwing out, seemed like 2 or 3 hits a night.
Now, Jordan brings the ability to hit. He's not a big power guy. The other thing he brings is he can catch. He can play third. He's playing second tonight. Throw him out in the corner outfield spot. So he has that National League versatility. And he's going to give you a good at bat. 315, 316 lifetime hitter here.
Tries to stay center. Not a big pole guy.
Slider count, the slider got it. John Gray, after giving up the double at Jay Bruce, got a ground out and a strikeout. Middle of 2, the Rockies up 5-0. Top of the order again when we return.
They're up 5-0, and in that first inning, Daniel Descalso, who starts today at first base, had another RBI with another knock. Yesterday in the postgame, he talked about how he changed his rhythm in the offseason, and I asked him what he did, and I'm just going to show you the side swing from his first at bat. Notice his bat waggle. That's all he did. He just wanted to get a little bit more rhythm. Jeff, he thought he was too stagnant, too still in the box. That gives him a rhythm, and it's worked, and he said, you know what, I feel great. He's sticking with it.
And it also relaxes your hands, Mark. Sometimes when you're too stagnant, you'll go from a... Think about pushing a car when it starts. If you just park there and then try to get going, it's really hard. But if you waggle the bat, you get a little bat movement going, it just helps free the hands up.
0-2 on Charlie.
Well, I borrowed Corey Sullivan's bat tonight, so all it means is just kind of sit up here like this. You know, we were just in Boston the other day, the retired Wade Boggs number. And I'm not comparing Daniel to Wade Boggs. I'm just talking about rhythm and timing. Because Wade Boggs, what would he do? He would stand up here like this, and it worked pretty well for him.
Best hitter I've ever seen, Barry Bonds.
Exactly. They all move it. If you're just locked like this, everything right here tightens up, and it's really hard to swing.
It's hard to adopt that though if your whole life you kind of hit with your hands in one place and didn't do it. It's not something you just do overnight, is it?
Or you don't just start doing it in spring training. You start incorporating this into your workouts in October and November.
We've seen guys work on things and then reject them very early on. Troy Tulowitzki worked on a leg lift all winter, all fall, and he got rid of it in the second game of the year, it looked like. Went back to the toe tap, which he was comfortable with. And then you'll see some guys, Corey Dickerson was one, they'll lift until there's 2 strikes and then they'll spread out or just a toe up. 3-2 now on Charlie.
See guys borrowed other guys' bats just because it felt good for them that day. So it's whatever makes your mind think that it's in a good place. I think that's the bottom line.
Charlie hits this ball to left center field. Billy Hamilton and Adam Duvall. It's Duvall, 1 out.
Second baseman, number 9, DJ LeMahieu.
That'll bring up DJ. He roped a double on a slider. Line shot over Duvall's head. And then would jog home on Nolan Arenado's home run. LeMahieu with the double has hit 10 consecutive ball games. Called strike on the inside corner. Now what?
They FaceTiming or a selfie? What do you?
No, well, that's a selfie. And the additional note about that phone is that actually is the baby's phone. This ball's well hit to center field. Hamilton going back, gone. Dead central, DJ LeMahieu. Wow. We've said it before, if you watch batting practice, DJ has all kinds of power, but he stays inside the baseball typically and goes the other way. He just showed off some of that pop.
And he drove it to the deepest part of the ballpark, 415. And for DJ, it's his first home run since April 6th. He had back-to-back games, games 2 and game 3 down in Arizona where he hit home runs. With 2 doubles in this series, 1 yesterday to left center, a double earlier in the game, and then a home run.
Strike on Arenado, 1-1. They already estimated how far that home run was for LeMahieu, 450. I'm going out on a limb right now. I'm saying that's the longest home run of his career. He hit another one. It may have been in Arizona. He went really far in Arizona.
It was like 442 or.
Yeah, remember it was in left center field.
Left center field.
Yeah. I don't think it was 450 though. That was a big fly. And this is poked at the second baseman. And George Pacheco throws out Arenado. 2 outs. Cargo on a 3-1 pitch line to left. He has hit 8 straight. Coming in 14 hits, 28 at bats. A home run in 3 straight. Slugging percentage at .969. He had an OPS coming in of 1598 during the stretch. Inside ball 1. Cargo in his last 8 games against Cincinnati is hitting .484 with 5 jacks. (2-0). Moscot is from Pacific Palisades, California.
4th round pick out of Pepperdine.
He's got an interesting background. He's an Eagle Scout. He also, when he was 13, had a small role in the movie Benchwarmers. Remember that? Yeah.
Who can forget that movie?
Three and one. Daniel Descalso, who we've talked quite a bit about the last couple of days, went to Cal Davis, and John's little brother just signed to play baseball at Cal Davis. 3-1 on Cargo.
I'm not sure Cargo thought that was a strike. It was closer than what it appeared on the Subaru strike zone. It was framed. That's what it was. Tucker Barnhart framed that one nicely.
This ball's hammered deep left field, way back, gone. Making 4 straight ball games with a home run. And the Rockies have 7 on the board. Was that ever loud?
That was Cargo-esque. Like 3 home runs in this game, and we're just an inning and 2/3 into it. The consecutive home runs. Well, it's his 9th consecutive game to get a hit in.
3rd time in his career that he's hit a home run in 4 straight. The club record is 6 by Nolan.
And oh, by the way, he's up to 10 on the season.
This ball's hit to deep center, and Hamilton acting like he has a play on the track, and he does. 2 solo home runs in the inning. DJ LeMahieu, Carlos Gonzalez. Tacos for everybody tomorrow. 7-0 Rockies. Last inning, Rockies through 2 frames up 7-0, which means you get to head back to Taco Bell tomorrow between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. John Gray on the first pitch induces a ground ball that Descalso didn't come up with. That'll be an error, and Tucker Barnhart reaches. Rush himself a little bit, Huey?
A little bit. As I mentioned, just his 6th career game playing first base. But you hate for that to happen when you have a 1 pitch, he swings at it, 8th place hitter in the lineup. You can kind of see he was starting to turn his body so he could make that flip over to first, just didn't work underneath the baseball on the Subaru Supermo.
Daniel Wright is up in the Reds pen. And Moscott is now behind 0-2. Brian Price, a former pitching coach. He feels Moscott's pain. Rockies have hit 4 home runs the night after watching Cincinnati hit 5 home runs. Whoa. He's acting like he got hit. Did he get hit with that? He did. Now yeah, Mark Wegner's signaling for him to go down to first. He must have got grazed by it.
Let's get his ear. Yes, it
Yeah,
did.
it did. Somehow it was caught by Walters. Ooh.
Ow.
That's scary, Hugh.
That
You
is,
described it because you were a really good bunter, and you're exposed, and he throws in the mid to upper 90s. And honestly, he never really reacted till the ball was already past him.
Kind of reminds me of what we saw the other day in Pittsburgh with Ryan Vogelsong. That Vogelsong wasn't trying to bunt, but same thing, that they just didn't react until it was passed. For a guy just coming off the DL, I don't think they'll take any chances with him. Says he's all right, but
I guarantee you a big part of this is the thinking, man, oh man, I never moved. I was
no,
2-3 inches from getting squared up in the face. That is frightening.
That was real scary.
Putting the hat on. He's going to go down to first.
He's going to go to first. One more look, squared around. He's got his nose down in there like your top, ball up and in. He's lucky that didn't catch him square in the face. I mean, just watch where he is, and the ball goes by him. He doesn't turn his face or turn his head away at all. Wow.
You have 0.4 of a second from the time that ball's leaving the hand. Not a lot of time. So now 2 on, nobody out. Zach Cozart at the plate. Error and hit by pitch on an 0-2 delivery. Cozart single to left center, leading off the ball game, was erased on a Billy Hamilton double play ground ball. Two and 0.
John has to clear the mind. He had the air to start it, trying to get the pitcher up and in. Then he hits him. Now 2-0 to the leadoff hitter.
And that misses. 3-0. Everything's about overcoming adversity, because obviously if Daniel makes the play, there's 1 out. You have the pitcher up there, and in all likelihood 2 outs, and now you're just dealing with Cozart with nobody on base. He's lost his rhythm here. It's 3-0 on Cozart. And that's not close. A 4-pitch walk, and the bases are loaded, nobody out. And you have Hamilton followed by Votto and then Duvall. Absolute last thing you want to do is let them have any kind of success to feel like it's going to be a ball game.
And now it's up to Steve Foster to A little word of encouragement to John Gray. But the last 2 pitches he tried to overthrow. Kind of got out of his rhythm and didn't finish it towards the plate.
Well, tonight our guest on Toyota Talk Takeover is former Bronco and current ESPN analyst Mark Schlereth. Tweet your questions to Mark at rootsports_RM during tonight's ball game. And some of Stink's thoughts on the game so far. Rockies' first inning batting practice. I love it. Mark's a huge Rockies fan. Of course, his son Daniel still playing professional baseball, former #1 pick, former big leaguer, now working in Toronto's organization, AA level. But Mark and his family are huge Rockies fans. Billy Hamilton with the bases loaded, nobody out. And that's up high. You can see Gray snapping the glove with disgust on the throw back from Tony Walters. Can't find the zone now.
Oh, and they tried to throw fastball first pitch. That didn't work. Then they go to the slider. Everything's coming out more from the side. It's just leaving his arm behind, flying open with the left shoulder. But I'm a little surprised that Billy Hamilton swung there after 6 straight balls and the type of hitter that he is.
And scoreboard.
And yeah, great point. And scoreboard. Now for John, he's got to think, okay, nice. I found it again. Let's go. I get locked back in.
2-2. Hamilton, a career .355 hitter against the Rockies. Barnhart at third, Moscott at second, Cozart is at first, nobody out.
Wow.
A little bit low.
We've seen Tony Walters be one of the best in the game at getting these calls when they're down low. Tried to pull it back up, but just a smidgen below the strike zone.
Here's the 3-2. Interesting, he went slider 3-2.
I think if you throw that down to Billy Hamilton, that's his spot where he'll swing over the top of it.
Hamilton does not walk much, just 7 times. The reasons he doesn't hit at the top of the order, even with the great speed. Gray having to work a whole lot harder than he thought he was going to have to in this inning. Barnhart, Moscott, and Cozart. Error, hit by pitch, and a walk. Lost him. Ball 4, forces in a run. 7-1, and now you have Joey Votto up. And Cincinnati looked like they were going to get blown out of the stadium. 7 runs for the Rockies in the first 2 frames. Now they're thinking maybe we get healthy again.
Look back into yesterday's game, and that was kind of the same script. Yesterday, you go up 5-1, have a chance to get out of an inning, then you walk the pitcher, you throw out a hit. The big hit in that inning was Joey Votto with the double and a couple RBIs. That was the one he hit to center field.
He had a broken bat liner at Arenado. Rockies have 3 on the right side. Story will cover the bag on a ball on the ground to Nolan. Curveball for a strike.
Pitch that John's been trying to throw more. Saw that the slider didn't have the effectiveness that he needed, so he throws a 79-mile-an-hour curveball at the bottom of the Subaru strike zone.
Joey Votto, a native of Toronto. Another curveball. Where's that?
It's been outside the zone.
Guess so.
Tried to throw the same pitch right over the top, curveball.
One and 2. You would think Huey, with a 4-seam fastball, they'd go in there again.
Go inside, and you could elevate it some to Joey. He chokes up on the bat probably as much as anybody we see these days, 2 or 3 inches, but he also crouches and leans over. Those are the hard pitches to get to if you have that much lean and squat in your stance. I mean, look at that. That looks like one of those old school leadoff hitters.
And he got him on a slider for the first out of the inning. Strikeout number 2 for Gray. The bases still loaded, and Duvall coming up.
Tighter rotation on the Subaru Supermo, and Joey Votto committed his swing early because he was worried about getting beat in. Once you start to get pounded inside of your hands, you think, I've got to cheat. I've got to start my swing sooner, and that's what Votto did.
Duvall hit it on the ground to second his first time up. And that's a strike.
See some frustration from John this inning, just snapping the ball when it comes back from the catcher.
Next pitch will be the 23rd of the inning, and on the first pitch he got a ground ball just to the right of Descalso, and it got underneath his glove. Here's the 1-1. 1-2. Starting to get a feel for the slider, it looks like, Jeff.
And that's a great sign for the Rockies and for John, because when he gets that feel for the slider, that's when those strikeouts start to rack up.
Gray ready, 1-2 on Duvall. Dangerous bat. Sliders inside, 2-2. Duvall went to 3 different schools. 27-year-old began his career at Western Kentucky, then went to Chipola College, and then on to University of Louisville. Swung on and missed, or was it a foul ball? Nope. He didn't get a piece of it. 2 outs.
The other sound you heard was the ball hitting the dirt after he swung and missed. 2 sliders and big counts when he needed them. And then Tony Walters just blocking it. Not done yet, but it's a good start to get those 2 guys. So you got the ever dangerous Jay Bruce, who has power from foul pole to foul pole.
He's the club leader in RBIs with 31. Here's our Quicken Loans Rocket Arms, rookie strikeout leaders in the National League. Kenna Maeda has 51. Steven Matz, the lefty for the Mets, 50. John Gray, 48. However, if you look at innings pitched, Maeda 57, Matz 49 2/3, Gray just 42. So in terms of strikeout per inning pitch, John Gray is leading all rookies. That's helpful. Mike Winters said he went around 1-1.
No argument from Jay Bruce.
You know, guys that have lived up to expectations this year, Bruce would be one. Cozart certainly. Adam Duvall probably exceeded expectations. 2-1.
Jay Bruce has been with them a long time. Club option for 2017. There's already rumors going around that come the trade deadline,
Well,
this guy's going to be it.
Yeah,
he's going to be traded.
The rumors, you saw them all winter long that Bruce was going to get traded. Same thing with Phillips. They're just remaking their roster. Phillips nixed a trade to Washington. But Gray is really struggling. 3-1, and John has not walked many. And John came into the ball game having walked just 13. Better than 3-1 strikeout to walk ratio, just outstanding. Something's gone haywire here in the 3rd inning. 3-1 on Bruce. Ground ball, and a nice pickup there by Story. He's got to hustle, and he gets it there. It could have been far worse. Just a run for the Reds. They'll leave them loaded. 7-1 Colorado. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. And we welcome you back to Coors Field. We go to the bottom of the third. The Rockies up 7-1. And John Moscott gave up 7 runs in the first 2 innings and then was hit on the ear. Is out of the ball game. Daniel Wright will take over. Steve Foster counsels John Gray. The Rockies dugout.
And just reading his lips there, he's telling him 1 pitch at a time. And that's what you focus on, that next pitch, and then the one after that.
Well, Daniel Wright, I'm sorry, Huey.
No, I was just going to say Daniel Wright just recalled the other day from Louisville, spent some time between Pensacola and Louisville, 4 starts, 6 relief appearances. He was 3-0 with a 0.79 ERA, 4 strikeouts on the season, just 1 walk, but a little bit like who we just saw in John Moscott, that he's not overpowering. Fastball is 89, changeup 82, curveball around 74.
Made his major league debut 7 days ago against the Dodgers in a start. Gave up 4 runs, 3 earned in 5 1/3. 7 hits, walked 1, struck out 4. Parra doubled his first time up, doubled with 2 outs, and then Descalso would single him home, and then Tony Walters doubled home Descalso. Rocky scored 5 times in the first, 2 more in the second. They've hit 4 home runs, and this ball's well hit to deep center field, and this ball's got 5 home runs tonight, and we're just in the 3rd inning.
Sometimes you have to work hard for 1 run like Cincinnati did in the top half of the 3rd inning, and then other times it's pretty easy. With 1 swing in the bat, you get that run back. That's what Gerardo did. That's 2 balls now to center field. 4th of the season, 24 RBIs for Gerardo.
No cheapies tonight.
No. Just another look. Billy Hamilton thinks for a moment he's got room, but then the basket catch out in center field with no glove. Fan just caught it. Says, I got it. I don't need a glove.
Double and a home run for Gerardo. Distance on that home run, 439 feet.
DJ still has him. DJ's was 440. Oh, no, 450. Not 440, yeah. He outflew him by 11 feet.
Dramatic sky in the distance. Hopefully some of the drama of that sky moves elsewhere tonight. Pretty shot. This is a ground ball to Votto, and he'll recover and throw to right, 1 out. Another question for Stink. Should probably ask Mark to tell it. Well, maybe we should.
No.
Nolan is good. Who's the best all-around player today, in your opinion? Mike Trout in football, J.J. Watt. You didn't think Mark was going to pick one of the pretty guys, did you?
No.
Hard to argue with J.J. Watt.
Real good choice.
Tony Walters had a double his first time. He drove in his 11th run of the year and also moved his average above the Mendoza line. 207 for Tony. Keeps learning on the fly offensively. Mark Stripmatter was with us yesterday, the Rockies roving catching coordinator, and he's just been so impressed with how Tony Walters has received the baseball. All his work behind the plate. Good job for Tony. Up the middle. Another knock.
I just thought it was funny how he learned how to catch. Oh, here's what, 400 hours of Russell Mark video. Go get him, kid.
It's not supposed to be that way, is it?
No, but for Tony, I guess it was pretty easy. Hey, fans, don't miss the action when the New York Yankees make a rare appearance at Coors Field. It's on June 14th and 15th. Get your tickets today.
Great bunt from Brett. 3-4 on the sacrifice. Nothing pleases a hitting coach like Blake Doyle, a manager, when you do the little things. Execute the little things. And honestly, lately, the Rockies have not executed all of the aspects of small baseball that they were earlier in the year.
Yesterday was a prime example. You had a couple opportunities. You had the double by Cargo, who drove DJ over to third base. And then you had the 5-3, the strikeout, and you didn't score a run out of that inning to climb back into the game. I mean, that was just one example in yesterday's game.
One 1-0 on Charlie. He'll step out. They changed the scoring last inning. They took the error away from Descalso and gave Barnhart a hit, so it's now an earned run, which I'm kind of curious, because I guarantee you, if you talk to Daniel Descalso after the game, he'd tell you I should have made that play.
But the error's still up on the board.
They'll get it. They'll get it fixed. The Coors Light Cold Hard Facts are brought to you by Clean, Crisp Coors Light. Well, congratulations, Charlie. In his 499th game, he hit his 49th career home run. And tonight, in his 500th career game, he hit his 50th home run. Huey, my question for you and Mark Schlereth: how many home runs does he hit per slot of games? In other words, how many games per home run?
So let me see, 50. Hold on, I gotta think about that one for a minute.
Here's my calculator.
Yeah, would you please? I'll let Mark have first crack at it since he's our guest tonight.
Do you know what a first? There's another first that happened tonight. It's the first time, I'm surprised by this, first time in Rockies history that in back-to-back days the leadoff man hit a home run. That'll end the inning as Blackman swings through that offering. The Rockies keep the big bats going. Gerardo Parra goes deep, his 4th of the year, 5th home run for the Rockies tonight, 8-1.
As we go to the 4th inning, there's Nolan Arenado. Got his first day off yesterday in game number 50 of the season. Last year he played 157, missed all of 5. I asked him about, you know, having an off day and how it affected him.
When you're not playing, I guess you can kind of get away, not entirely, because there's a chance you might go into the game. So it's just more rest for your body, but I guess mentally you still have to stay locked in just in case something happens.
So that's my question to you, Jeff. He was on deck at the end of the game, so yeah, you know, maybe you can get away from it. He said he watched a little bit of video, but he was ready to go in the 9th inning yesterday. So I don't know if you always get away from it.
Well, I think you do early in the game. I mean, anytime somebody like Nolan sits for a day, it's a big deal. But you get away mentally, at least for the first 5 or 6 innings. And then you start to lock in, knowing that I could still be used as a pinch hitter. So then your brain starts to get really back into baseball mode. Where are those?
3-1.
Okay.
Mark Wegner's not given the borderline pitch. Maybe it has something to do with last inning. The fact that he had fallen behind, was around the zone quite a bit, but out of it. Who knows? Got a tight zone right now, and that's ball 4. So Suarez walks. Hey Drew, Jeff, what's the Rockies' record for extra base hits in a game? Actually, you want to ask Doug that. A dozen, 3 times, including earlier this year on April the 13th against the Giants. And tonight, the Rockies have hit 5 home runs and 1, 2, 3 doubles. So they're well on their way, huh?
Jordan Pacheco's alma mater, New Mexico, made the round of 64 for the college baseball. They're going to a regional this weekend.
Good program down there. Fouled off 0-2. Coach Birmingham. They have a lot of Colorado connections.
Oh, they
recruit heavily in the state of Colorado, being 6 hours down the road. 0-2 on Pacheco. And a ground ball cut off by Nolan. There's one on the first double play. Boy, that's a good turn.
And I'm going to give the props on this one to DJ. Is normally Nolan's money with his feeds to second base. This time, because of the way he was running, had to really throw it awkwardly, and it ended up being down and away from DJ. So Nolan gets over their ranges, but then down and away towards the outside part of the bag. So he had to make sure that he got it and then made the turn. And John Gray, yeah, pump your glove and your fist. Got some help from the guys behind you. 2 double plays tonight for Colorado.
Tucker Barnhart, who was just awarded a hit somehow. One on the Cincinnati backstop. One and one. bit too tall. 2-1. Here's Barnhart leading off last inning. First pitch of the inning. And you play official scored.
Yeah, I don't know how they overturned that one from an error to a hit, because two things. I mean, one, first of all, it's an error. I think Daniel will tell you it was an error, but two, it adds an earned run to John from last inning.
And usually you get that benefit at home. Got to pick up your own guy. Daniel's only going to play first base, you know, in all likelihood, a handful of times or so.
Boy, it's not like, maybe if it was Billy Hamilton with some speed, but not for Tucker.
Yeah, that you know, that's a good point. I mean, if Billy Hamilton hit it, you could make a case, well, even if he comes up with it, he's going to beat the pitcher over there. Though the Rockies, I think Mark Reynolds, was it, or maybe I think it was DJ involved. Anyhow, there was a right side ground ball yesterday from Billy Hamilton, and the pitcher got over in time. I think it was yesterday with Hamilton. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, it was. He was in the 9th inning yesterday. And McGee got over in time and covered. I mean, doesn't matter who's running, you still have a shorter distance. There's a strikeout of Barnhart. And that ends the inning. So there's a walk and then a 5-4-3 behind it. The Rockies are up 8-1. Colorado's hit 5 home runs tonight. They'll have LeMahieu, Arenado, and Gonzalez, and all 3 of those guys have hit home runs tonight. Well, congratulations to all of our high school baseball champions at the 5A level. Cherokee Trail, the Cougars beat Rocky Mountain. Came down to the final game because Cherokee Trail was unbeaten. Valor wins at 4A. Faith Christian. Dawson School Mustangs are up in the Lafayette area. And the Holly Wildcats in 1A won it. Cherokee Trail, the final 4 at 5A. 3 of the final 4 teams were out of the Centennial League, which is a brutally tough league.
It is, and they had to push the tournament back by a day. They're originally supposed to play Friday, Saturday, then the weather, so then it was Saturday, Sunday. But what's new with Colorado high school baseball? Always battling the weather in the spring.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to play these games in January.
The weather truly leading up to the first couple of weeks, or the first few weeks in February, the weather, they could have played, you know, a dozen games outside. How about for Trail? The weather was so bad they couldn't get out of town to go on their spring trip.
Right.
Started the season 2-3, but they finish it as state champs. Here's the 2-1 on DJ, and that is a single. And now all DJ needs is the most difficult element typically of a cycle, the triple. But he's got double, home run, single.
Probably minimum 2 more at bats. He's going to slice you down in the corner. That's what I'm going to call for next time. Slice you in the corner, rattle around there, motor all the way to third.
He will not be breaking in second.
No, because when he gets back to the dugout, or next time he goes up there, the guys are going to remind him.
So here's Nolan. First at bat after the lengthy time off. He had a 2-run home run.
Lengthy, like 36 hours worth of time off.
That's it. Rockies have out-hit the Reds 11-3. And this is 2 hops to third. And a nice job going around the horn by Cincinnati. 5-4-3, 2 outs. That'll bring up Cargo. Suarez to Pacheco, on to first to Votto. Well, describe this thing, Huey.
Well, it was a line drive that got out, and I couldn't get the timer on it because it went out so fast, but I think about 2.4 seconds.
Cargo, in his first at bat, hit a line drive at the left fielder Duvall.
They keep wanting to pitch him away, too. They keep going out there, so he hit a home run to center yesterday. Line drive home run to left field.
He's in one of those places right now where, honestly, I don't think it matters where they pitch him. Cargo riding a 9-game hitting streak. He's hit a home run in 4 straight for the 3rd time in his career. Oh, he was on that. 1-2. Nolan has a club record we were discussing that earlier. He hit a home run in 6 straight last year in September. 21 times a Rocky has homered in 4 consecutive games. That home run by Cargo, his 10th. So just like that, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, a week ago we were talking about 2 for 32, and Cargo's struggling at the plate, all kinds of extra work with Blake Doyle. And now all of a sudden he's going to show up on the home run charts in the National League a week later.
We were talking to Jim Riggleman yesterday, and Jim's the bench coach for the Reds, and we relayed the information last year. Come first part of June, he had 4 home runs and is up with 40. And Jim, just his eyes kind of bugged out and said, really?
He didn't miss that by a ton. He was on the barrel, but he hits it a mile high. That'll end the inning. We'll go to the 5th, and when we come back, we'll go to the Rockies dugout and visit with Walt Weiss. 8-1 Rockies. Tuesday night, Walt Weiss joins us. Walt, you can talk all you want about having a response, but to go out and demonstrate what you have, at least so far in the ball game, has to feel pretty good.
Yeah, good approach offensively. It's great to see Cargo heating up. DJ's in a really good place. Johnny struggled through the 3rd, but other than that, throwing the ball well.
But the thing with John tonight, when he needed to make pitches, he did, and primarily with the slider.
And that, you know, that's the benefit of having a power guy out there. Even with the bases loaded, nobody out, he can get some strikeouts and minimize the damage and get out of there with 1 run.
Well, we'll let you get back to your perch. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks
guys.
You bet. So John Gray ready to go to work. And he's got the first pitch over for strike 1. And it's Daniel Wright, the pitcher, hitting in the 5th inning, 9-1-2. You may be wondering, you know, why would the Reds and Brian Price have the pitcher hit down by 7 runs? You just can't blow up your whole bullpen.
Not in
the middle of a game.
In a 4-game set, too. You might if it was a 3-game and you had an off day coming up on Thursday. Brian Price says, I can't do that with still 2.5 games remaining.
Ground ball on 2 hops to Story. Another question for Mark Schlereth, who's joining us on our Tuesday Twitter takeover. Would you like to see Daniel pitching for the Rockies? Daniel, again, the Toronto organization right now. And Mark says, selfishly, I'd love to see Daniel pitch for the Rockies. Get to come down every night, you bet.
Back in the big leagues, and he'd be at every home game.
You know, I'll tell you a story, because Mark and I, our families were neighbors for a number of years, and I think Daniel was about 11 or 12, and Mark came down and he said, you know, my knees aren't good enough to squat and catch him right now. I mean, Mark only had 29 surgeries when he played. And so I caught Daniel, you know, in the backyard. Like, this kid throws really hard for
Did you
12.
have any gear on, or did you just go back there?
No,
with
I
the
just went back with my catcher's glove. And this is not going to be long that I'm going to be putting a lot of gear on to catch him. He was a very gifted athlete. He was a starting quarterback at Highlands Ranch High School, and started at UNLV, had surgery, and then ended up at the U of A, where he was a first-round pick of the Diamondbacks.
He's dealt with, as you mentioned, the Tommy John surgery, now with his shoulder. Still close to 100 ball games in the major leagues.
Yeah. Ozark is retired.
Rockies dugout stores, or the place for all things Rockies. Stop by any of the 6 dugout stores locations to get ready for your next game and get your gear on.
Billy Hamilton with 2 outs and nobody aboard. One on Billy. More guys have the wraps on the bat than I recall it when you were playing in the 90s. Did you ever do that?
No. Well, I don't think it was available. I mean, I'm sure it was, but nobody did it. Now you see it on various bats, various colors of the bat. Like a tennis wrap, where it's a little spongy.
When you pick up a bat now and you feel, does it feel good in your hands?
It does feel pretty good.
Yeah.
And I understand why guys use it. And it saves with some vibration if you miss hit the baseball. I think that's the biggest key, as many swings as you take. Gives you that feel of an aluminum bat. You know, when you grab the aluminum bat, how spongy it feels.
Gray with a deep breath. Here's the 1-2 on Hamilton with 2 outs. Talked about Billy having a scholarship offer to play both sports, football and baseball at Mississippi State. but the school that his family followed and the place he really wanted to go, and he said it would have been hard for me to sign professionally in baseball had the offer. And he wanted to go to Ole Miss. And it was between him and another receiver. 2-2.
Did he tell you who the other receiver was to see where he is today and where Billy is?
No.
To find out that information.
Yeah.
Who was it?
John Gray settles on a pitch. 2-2. Another slider. When you look at Hamilton, Huey, can you envision, he comes into the ballgame hitting 241. Can you envision, as he figures this out, you know, where he can raise it up 275, 280 with his swing?
With his swing and his speed, should be able to just try to get on top of it, hit it on the ground, and outrun it. That'd be hard pressed to think back, you know, even 10, 12 years ago, somebody that came along with his off the chart speed. I mean, from a 20 to 80, he's above 80, whatever that is.
Yeah. He's lightning quick. But he hit that too hard. Story will throw him out. So John Gray wins the battle with Billy Hamilton. He's retired 5 in a row. The Rockies in charge 8-1. Story will lead it off. A day after they watched the Reds hit 5 home runs against them, the Rockies have produced 5 home runs. Trevor Story has hit a ground ball to deep short and a fly ball to the warning track in center. He's 0 for 2, and he swings through that offering by Daniel Wright. One ball, one strike. Rockies trying to end a 3-game losing streak. It's fouled off. Overall, and also a 3-game losing streak against the Reds. Wright was a 10th round pick 3 years ago. On the ground to third. Suarez. Tovado one out.
Left fielder, number
Another question for Mark Schlereth. Did you pitch some during coach pitch? If so, what were the results? Yes, and I was great. 52-mile-an-hour fastball with little to no movement. Perfect for turning it around. I remember coach pitch, and there was a limit. You know, with you had seven pitches, and you want to talk about nerve-wracking. You had the kid up there, and you're sitting out there, and you have that 7th pitch, and no matter what, if you don't throw it, if you throw an awful pitch, the kid's out.
And you're trying to hit his bat maybe sometimes.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah,
that was nerve-wracking.
I had more problems doing that when I was helping the kids than at the major leagues.
Right. Gerardo Parra double and a home run. LeMahieu's got a double, home run, and single. See if Parra can keep pace. Parra hit a home run on the first day of May, and he's hit a home run on the last day of May. Sure, you're gonna make me cry telling growing up stories. Good memories. Yeah. I'm gonna tell one here in a moment that I've told many times with Mark in different places, but it always cracks me up. This ball's lined to right, and look at this. Now both Parra and LeMahieu are a triple shy of a cycle. Dougie informed me that 239 times a Rocky has finished a triple shy of a cycle, including 5 times this year. Doug, thanks. You're not only a wealth of information, but a wealth of pessimism as well.
Surprised he didn't give you the weather report, too. Saying it's going to rain.
So here comes Descalso. So I was at the time doing the Nuggets, and just as we got home at 3 in the morning, 3:30 in the morning, whatever it was the other night, that's commonplace in the NBA because you're always playing night games, and all the West Coast games coming back here, you lose an hour. And Mark had told my wife Chris, he said, hey, listen, anytime that Drew's out of town and it snows, just let me know. I'll send Daniel down, and he'll shovel the driveway. And so I get home at whatever it was, 3:30, 4 in the morning. And the next morning is a Sunday. It's still during the Broncos season. Mark is still the starting left guard for the Broncos. And I'm hearing scraping on it snowed the night before. I'm hearing scraping on the driveway. And so I, staggered to the window at like 8:30 in the morning, and I look out there, and there is Mark and Daniel. Because the whole thing was, I want Daniel. Here's Parr, move up. I'll send Daniel down there because, he wanted him to, he's 12 or 13 or 11, whatever it was. He wanted him to, learn some responsibility, being a good dad. And so anyhow, I see Daniel out there, but I see Mark's out there also. He's got a game that day? He's got a game that day. He'd come home from the team hotel, and there they are out shoveling my driveway. Well, I was too embarrassed to go out there at that point.
What? Hold on for a second.
What?
Was it snowing when you got home at 3:30 in the morning?
Yeah, I guess.
So why did you shovel then?
3 in the morning, I'm going to bed, dude.
Okay.
Shoveling at 3:30. Who shoveled at 3:30 in the morning? It wasn't done snowing. So anyhow, I'm too embarrassed to go out there. I was going down to the Bronco game that day. Broncos win. I go in the locker room after the game, and I go up to Stink, and I said, dude, what are you doing? He goes, what? I go, you're out at 8:30 in the morning or whatever, shoveling my driveway. He goes, that kid needs to learn a work ethic. That was his response. Deep left field, and caught out there by Duvall. Parra will have to return to second. Descalso continues to find the barrel in every at bat, it seems like.
That little waggle he has with his bat's working just fine. Don't change a thing. Drove this ball to left field. Duvall plays it pretty deep left field, but he still has to reach up right at the warning track to make that catch. I'm just glad they won that game after you made him shovel your driveway. Probably didn't even pay for dinner that night, did you?
That's a strike on Tony Walters.
So you guys went out to dinner that night and you still made Mark pay after he shoveled your driveway that day? You're going to plead the fifth. Okay, I got it. Your silence.
He was celebrating with his teammates.
Your silence is the answer.
Double and a single tonight for Walters. And that curveball's in there for a strike. It's 0-2. Parra at second. Rockies up 8-1 in the fifth. Now the worst thing is whenever I call Stink to shovel my driveway these days, he doesn't show up.
Blame him?
I don't understand it. Wise move by Parra. You say, well, the ball got away, but there's 2 outs. You're already in scoring position. There's not a lot to gain.
Don't take a chance. Let Tony try to drive you in.
Right, really taking his time. There's a statute of limitations on how long you can focus, and Tony will step back, kick some dirt around. There's also a limitation how long you can squat.
That's what, yeah.
Tucker Barnhart gets up. Some life back in the thighs. And a strikeout to end the inning. So Parra is left at second base. We're through 5 innings at Coors Field. The Rockies 8 and the Reds 1. Of baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. And here is some of the greater coverage of baseball. Bryce Harper left the game yesterday after being hit by a pitch in the right knee. Day to day, David Wright has a herniated disc in his neck and may have to go on to disable his unit. He has stenosis of the spinal column, and David Wright again dealing with some issues in the neck. And the Royals have gotten hot. They're in first place for the first time since April the 22nd. Bryce Harper has on-base percentage over 400 because of all the walks, as Joey Votto slices this into the crowd. But he's hitting only 242.
There's a number. I just go back in my book for a moment because I wrote it in there. I think when we were in Boston, what he was hitting. It was just an awful number for Bryce Harper. Yeah, the last 27 games he was hitting 184, but still an on-base percentage over 400. The Royals are winning tonight 8-4, so they continue their ways. Talk about an on-base percentage for his career. The guy at the plate, Joey Votto.
.420 in his career. High fly ball to deep left. And this one's gone. So Votto goes opposite field. Second home run of the series, his 9th of the year.
Joey Votto pulled one yesterday. This time he takes it the opposite way. Subaru Supermo just shows you that that was middle, but he had that uppercut, the long loopy swing to hit it out to left, but hit it out by a pretty good bit.
That's a little bit low. Ball 1 on Duvall. Yeah, Votto had come into the ball game yesterday 9 for his previous 58. He's got the 2-run double yesterday and now a pair of solo home runs. On the inside corner, that slider is in the zone. 1 ball, 1 strike. For 8-2 Rockies.
Yeah, but for John, that's just the 4th home run he's given up on the season.
Boy, that didn't feel too good. Got to hustle though if you're DJ. He does. And gets Duvall by a step.
There's bat pieces going everywhere.
Right fielder, number 32, Jay Bruce.
Another question for Mark. If you would have played baseball instead of football, what position would you have played? Outfield. Definitely afraid of grounders.
At least he's honest.
Yeah.
Here's a guy that's played in the NFL that's as tough as nails. He's afraid of a ground ball.
He's afraid of ground balls. All right. Like you
I
said,
like
he's
his
honest.
honesty,
Yeah,
though.
he's honest. I actually thought he was going to say he would have caught or played first. It's rather large to play. You know, if he said short, then okay.
Right.
Have to trim down a little bit.
Maybe first base, power hitting first baseman.
Yeah. Well, Mark was an outstanding wrestler growing up in Alaska. Told me he used to wrestle bears. I don't believe that though.
Yeah. Could be one of those Alaskan tales. But that's where his son Daniel was born.
Great state of Alaska. 2-1 on Jay Bruce. This ball's well hit to center field. And this will get out. Jay Bruce with his 10th. And it's 8-3.
Jay Bruce in double digits with home run. That was his 10th. 218 home runs. Wanted to come inside. They did come inside, but Jay Bruce, very quick. Not much happening with the lower half, but gets that foot back down into the ground. Big, powerful swing.
Suarez 0 for 1 and a walk. There's a strike. In all likelihood, this is Graves' last inning. He's in the mid-90s in terms of pitches.
And other than last inning, that's the only inning he didn't have to deal with anybody on base.
Story, 2 outs. Cincinnati has a terrible record. We understand that. And offensively, they've had issues, but they do hit home runs. Obviously, Votto's record speaks for itself. Duvall's got a ton of power. Jay Bruce, ton of power. Suarez has a lot of power. Cozart has some pop. Checo at the plate fouls that back. Jordan a strikeout, and he grounded into a 5-4-3 double play.
For Cincinnati, they had come into this ball game just 2 behind Colorado. They had 56. Rockies had 58. Now that's going to be a bigger gap now, but it shows you how much power that the Reds have produced.
Reds also came in minus 97 in run differential, which is the worst run differential in baseball. They're now at minus 102. Jim Riggleman on the left to Brian Price, and that's on one hop to Nolan. And he throws out Pacheco. In the inning, a couple of solo home runs. Votto and Bruce. 8-3 Colorado as we go to the 7th. Our Allo Communications viewers from Gearing, Nebraska, thank you for watching the Rockies on Root Sports, and be sure to tell us where you happen to be watching from on Twitter at @RootSports_RM. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Christian Adames is going to pinch hit for John Gray. Daniel Wright continuing on for Cincinnati, took over in the 3rd inning. So Gray goes 6 innings in line for his 3rd victory. Sure, he's disappointed with 2 solo home runs and the hiccup in the 3rd where he struggled with his command, but other than that, he battled through things. And
well, and he did give up those home runs when there was the bases loaded. I mean, that's, you got to take some small victories, and I look at this for John. Now, 5 out of the last 6 starts. Of course, that one in St. Louis wasn't real good, but he's gone 6+ innings, 5 or fewer hits, and 3 runs or fewer in 5 of those 6 starts. So I think that trend, if you're looking at John making progress as he moves along, for him is pretty good.
This ball's well hit to right. It is over the head of Jay Bruce. Christian Adames with a double. The Rockies role players, Descalso, all year Ryan Rayburn, Christian Adames, Garneau backup catcher with Nick Hundley gone right now. They've all chipped in offensively quite a bit of late.
Well, and for Christian, hitting left-handed coming on the bench, he's now 5 for 15. was his first double of the season. He had the home run in Pittsburgh. But for Christian, he's up to 250 now. Because for about 6 weeks there, he was at the 150, 160 mark.
Rockies also with 9 extra base hits now, Huey. 9 of their 13 hits. Charlie hit a home run leading off the bottom of the first, second straight day that he's done that. He crushed this thing.
Took that 91-mile-an-hour fastball, put a dent in that brick wall in the bullpen.
Adames 7 for his last 13 at the plate. Time was called. Foul back.
Staying away on the Subaru strike zone from Charlie.
This ball is well hit, left center field. Hamilton converging, and at the last instant he gives way to Duvall, and moving up to third base is Adames. So a productive out from Charlie Blackmon.
The fans, the first 20,000 through the gates on Tuesday, June 14th, will receive a Colorado Rockies Flag Day beach towel, courtesy of King Soopers. All right, DJ. All you need is a triple. Here's how it's going to go down. You're going to hit one either down the right field line or the right center field gap, and you're going to motor all the way to third.
Well, that's down the right field line, and it lays out, and it didn't get far enough away.
No.
Wow, DJ's got a double. That was almost perfect, Huey.
Oh,
He doesn't get a little leather on that. It's going to squirm past him. It's an automatic triple.
Oh, so he's got to settle for a lousy double and another RBI.
Wow.
So he's got to settle for right now 4 for 4.
You were all over that.
Oh man, how close was this, and how much fun would it have been? Just enough glove on this to keep it to go. Right off the end on the Subaru Supermo. Hanging curveball.
That's honestly several inches, and it's a triple.
Oh well. Another run.
Have one more shot. In all probability, Nolan a 2-run home run in the first. 1 for 3. 9-3 Colorado. This ball hammered deep left, stayed fair. Gone. Home run. 2-run shot again for Nolan. Number 16. 6th home run of the night for the Rockies. A 4 RBI night for the Rockies' third baseman.
And now 16 home runs for Nolan. Boy, both of these in the same spot, down the left field line, into the tunnel.
16 home runs, 43 RBIs for Nolan. And the 6 home runs at Coors Field ties the all-time record set 4 other times. Mariners, Expos, Dodgers, and Marlins. And that is at Coors Field. 6 home run games at Coors Field.
Cespedes did not hit a home run tonight, so Nolan takes over the lead.
The Rockies' record for home runs in a game is 7. And they did that in Montreal in 1997, the opening days of the season. In fact, that's a base hit for Cargo. That's 4 straight multi-hit games for Cargo, in addition to having a 9-game hitting streak. That is kind of interesting that the club record for home runs was set on the road. I don't think there's a baseball person in America that would have guessed that.
And in Montreal, in that big ballpark.
Yeah, you played a lot of games there.
You broadcast, I mean, you know how big that thing is.
Yeah, and not a good place to hit.
No. We're gonna take a look at this many, many times, because when you slow down on the Subaru Supermo, it just is a thing of beauty.
Reds are going to make a pitching change here. They're going to double switch as well. De Jesus going to come in the ball game, and Jordan Pacheco, who made the final out in the 6th inning, will come out. Rockies have hit 6 home runs. They're up 11-3. Trevor Story at the plate. He's 0 for 3. He's the only position player without a hit in the Rockies lineup. Trevor, ground ball to short, fly ball to deep center field. And ground ball to third. Cargo's at first, and the new pitcher is Diane Diaz.
Last pitch Sunday in Milwaukee. 2/3 of an inning, gave up a hit, an earned run.
2-0. First pitcher in club history that is from Colombia. Three and out. And a 4-pitch walk out of the pen. Cargo will move down to second base. That'll bring up Parra. Parra also a triple shy of a cycle. Would you like to
yeah, I'll go ahead.
Point out where he's going to produce his cycle?
Yeah, I think this one's going to be into the left center field gap.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll buy that.
It's going to be, yeah, out by the UC Health, way out in the corner.
He basically called LeMahieu's. Fortunately, DJ had to stop at second.
He had to stop. Jay Bruce getting him just enough of that baseball to slow it down.
Here's Gerardo's night.
That's been pretty good for him as well. We talk about DJ. Well, Gerardo says, I can do that. I can hit a double to right center field. I can hit a home run to center field. And I can also single to right field.
It's that real late inward turn, Huey, with his hip that I'm sure generates quite a bit of pop.
It does, because that keeps your hips and your core engaged in the swing. And your swing starts from the ground up. So when you get that turn and then get everything back down and generating in the same direction, that's when you'll hit with the power.
This is on the ground to second. There's one and there's two. That'll end the inning. He hit it hard, but right at the shortstop Kozar. In the inning, the Rockies scored 3 more times, including another Nolan Arenado home run.
And yes, Carlos Gonzalez has a home run tonight, and since we're home run happy, I'm going to go back to 2012. Cargo's got homers in 4 straight games. How about when he hit homers in 4 straight at-bats, May 30th to May 31st against Houston in 2012. 4 ABs, 4 bombs. That's what Cargo can do, and he's now hit a home run in 4 straight games, guys.
He truly is amazing. And we've seen it, we witnessed it for years now. Cargo made his debut 8 years ago this month. He has put up extraordinary numbers. In fact, we're going to show you a graphic here in a moment. Just how special he's been since he arrived. Miguel Cabrera, these are guys that, since the Cargo's debut, slugging percentage and at-bat, home run per at-bat. The only other guys on this list are Cabrera, Pujols, Braun, Jose Bautista, and Prince Fielder. Is that a pretty good group to be with?
Well, that's the heavy lifting guys, the guys that'll, you know, when you come and watch them at the plate, they're swinging for the fence.
Well, they're game changers, and they've been game changers for a long time. Descalso flips to Chad Qualls. You know, no flash in the pan. Hey, one big year and then a bunch of mediocre years. Cargo arrived in Denver. He made his mark initially as a leadoff guy.
It's the group when you're taking batting practice that you don't want to be in.
You want to be in that group.
No, because they embarrass you. Two a year hits to match one of theirs.
Match one of theirs. I was talking to Brandon Phillips before the game today, and I said, you know, who'd you follow growing up? He said Barry Larkin was his favorite player, and his other favorite player was Jeff Bagwell. And he said, but in the game, he said, you know, the lefties always have the prettiest swings. He goes, nobody has a better swing than Carter.
Big Papi said that.
You know, big names everywhere.
Well, and the other
acknowledging his greatness.
Yeah, and with Cargo, I don't think there's a prettier swing, and after he hits a home run, where he just finishes and just drops the bat behind him. Where were we? We were talking about the flip in the bat, and we had that discussion last week on the road. Cargo doesn't do that. He just hits it and drops it.
Been there, done that. Ivan De Jesus Jr. is first at bat. And he's got himself a base hit. The ball game yesterday did the same thing. One out, one on. Zach Cozart coming up. Chad Qualls making his 802nd appearance. Not all this year, Hewitt.
No, because this is his 21st appearance this year, so it'd be tough to do. But still, tip of the cap to Chad. Reminder again, he made his 800th Major League appearance the other day. Special feat.
You know who he just tied on the all-time appearance list? The big train, Walter Johnson. How about that? Walter Johnson and Chad Qualls. 46th all-time in appearances.
But the big train wasn't very big.
Well, he was like 6'1", and by that day and age, he was
maybe.
And he threw sidearm. Ooh, this got redirected for a moment. And the Rockies still turn it over. How do you like that? That is actually going to be scored 1-4-6-3. Because Chad got a hand on it. 1-4-6-3 on the turn. 11-3 Colorado. The Rockies have been offensive tonight in a positive way. 6 home runs on their way to an 11-3 lead. As they hit the bottom of the 7th inning, it'll be Daniel Descalso hit an RBI single in the first. Deep drive to left field, and if not for a very nice running catch by Adam Duvall, Daniel would have had a double or a triple. Hitting a cool 500 so far since coming off the disabled list in 9 ball games. He went around. 2 strikes. So John Gray on the plus side goes 6 innings through 99 pitches, 5 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts.
12 ground ball outs tonight for John. Couple flyouts to go along with those 4 punch outs.
Doug just handed me a note on the Cubs game. They're losing 2-0 to the Dodgers. Jake Arrieta started. He went 7 shutout, but then gave up 2 in the 8th.
That was his first time facing the Dodgers since he no-hit them.
Oh, the pen, excuse me. The pen, Arrieta didn't give up anything.
Okay.
The pen gave up 2 in the 8th. Having trouble reading Doug's doctor's penmanship. That's the only game he's lost in the last like 7 years when the no-hitter was thrown. His last year and change. When,
28.
When the no-hitter was thrown against the Cubs.
24 tonight.
Three and 2. Diaz to Descalso out of Cal Davis. A Northern California kid. Ball 4. So Descalso will go down to first, and that'll bring up Tony Walters. Here's this week's CenturyLink high-speed challenge. Cargo has the hardest hit home run for the Rockies this season. We want to know how fast you think its exit velocity was. 3 choices: 115.9, 116.8, 117.4. Provide you an answer in a couple days. Make sure you go and vote at @RootSports_RM. Daniel Wright went 3 1/3, 4 runs, 8 hits, no walks, struck out 2. Walters couple hits. He's looking for his first 3-hit ball game of his career.
Keep that average keep on climbing.
Mark's got a nickname for Tony Walters, the Excavator, because he's digging sliders out of the dirt. That's clever. Tells me the ladies at home with Mark provided him that.
You don't think he came up with that on his own, is what you're saying?
Yeah, perhaps. Good nickname, though. I like it.
I do too.
3-0 on the Excavator.
You're just going to run with that and hope it sticks.
Then I'll claim it as my own.
You'll claim it as your own.
Yeah, why not?
You'll copyright it. Them T-shirts made up.
Ryan Rainbird's going to pinch hit for Qualls. Ryan should get a start tomorrow. Rockies will face a lefty. It's a strike, 3-1. On the hill tomorrow is John Lamb for Cincinnati. And the Rockies will counter with Tyler Chatwood looking for his 7th victory. check out the road trip, Huey? I know you're going to stay back, work the studio, but Sunday, because of the San Diego Marathon, it's a night game, and then drive up the road to LA.
Yeah,
and
I checked that a couple times because there's a night game in San Diego.
And that's all the Dodgers play. So Wednesday night, the Rockies play a night game at Dodger Stadium. We'll get back here in the middle of the night again. And then the next day, which was originally a day off, but that's now that one-game makeup from the rain out earlier against the Pirates, a 3 p.m. start a week from Thursday. This is pulled down the line. Extra bases maybe for Walters. You bet. Turning on the Jets. He's into second with a double. Stopping at third is Descalso. Tony Walters with his first career 3-hit game.
And they averaged a 222 for Tony. A nice 3-hit night. Clears the hips, brings the bat through. Even with the dive of Joey Votto, can only slow it down. th hit tonight for the Rockies.
Nobody out, second and third. Chance to do some more damage with Rayburn at the plate. Rockies allowed 17 hits yesterday. Today just 6. They have produced 17 hits of their own. 2-0. Well,
next Fan Friday is June 10th, and the first 10,000 fans will receive a Fan Friday team umbrella. After the Rockies come back off that road trip you were talking about a moment ago, Drew, you have that makeup game on Thursday with Pittsburgh, and then the Padres in town for the weekend. Before their first off day in I don't know how long, that Monday.
Well, it'd be 27 days, right?
Yeah, but that's why I didn't want to count back that far. But that's the Rockies golf tournament day too.
That is the annual golf tournament. 2-0 on Rayburn. Descalso at third, Walters at second. 2-1. Three balls and a strike. Charlie on deck. And now they're loaded up for Blackman.
As Charlie comes to the plate with the bases loaded, it's time for our Colorado Lottery pitch probability. And this is all right-handed pitchers that Charlie has faced this year.
Blackman a home run in the first. He had a deep fly ball to extreme left center in his last at bat. 1 for 4. Charlie with 20 RBIs. Chance to add a couple here. That's a grand slam, but they got to move the foul pole.
Yeah, playing on the round field.
That thing hit off the facing of the Mountain Ranch Club. Like a baseball with the soup tonight. your vichyssoise?
I think you'd get a souvenir up there.
2 strikes on Blackman. He has now reached in 26 straight games. He has a 9-game hitting streak. And in 24 of the 26 games, he has produced a hit. Not going to do it yet. It's still May 31st. But starting in mid-June, then I think it's fair to talk about all-star candidates outside.
You have 2 months under your belt. You're closing in on, you're playing every day, close to 200 at bats. Everything's kind of settled down. The dust from the early April numbers.
Yes, but I think you legitimately should wait till around mid-June or so. This ball clubbed high and deep right center field. Way back and gone. Grand slam, Charlie Blackman. Chuck Nasty.
You're just looking at this book now, trying to figure out, trying to come up with the player of the game. Because there's a lot of guys that can do it. Tonight, Charlie's on that list too. 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, a grand salami. 7 home runs tonight, ties a club record.
First time at Coors Field the Rockies have ever hit 7 in a game.
Well, we talked in the first inning about a no-doubt home run. This one is even further. Loud sound. Justin Miller in the bullpen caught that.
Oh, here's DJ again going for that triple. Got a double, a home run, a single, and a double tonight. That was absolutely mashed. 15-3. I think the Rockies were a little embarrassed by yesterday, Huey.
I think so. I think that you look back at that game, you beat 11-8. They have 17 hits. From the first inning on, they just walloped the baseball inside the ballpark and then over the fence.
5 RBI night, 2 homer night for Blackman. No team in the big leagues has hit 7 in a game this year. Foul tip off the mask of Barnhart. DJ with the 4 hits ties his career best, which was actually set 4 years ago against the Milwaukee Brewers in a 4-hit game.
One of those being a home run, 2 RBIs. The guy that's going to hit next, Nolan, has 2 home runs, 4 RBIs. That's what I'm saying. You can pick one of those 3 guys to be the player of the game, and you're not going to be wrong.
3-2.
But does the grand salami trump all of that?
May have to go co-players of the game.
Okay.
And now walk to DJ. Right now, Cincinnati can't get this thing over with fast enough.
No, if they could have those speed up rules, I think Brian Price might do that. They're going to make another double switch.
You know what? Well, he does have somebody He does have somebody warming because it's getting close to where and managers never want to do this, but it's getting close to where you start throwing a position player to preserve your bullpen. But we saw it earlier today. The Padres used 2 position players. They used Amarista, and then they used Bethencourt, Christian Bethencourt, their backup catcher, who was throwing a knuckleball.
Right, because Seattle ends up winning the game 16-4. They had to do it.
Tell you about the changes in a moment. The Rockies up by 12. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. The Rockies up 15-3. There's still nobody out here in the 7th inning with Nolan at the plate. He has a pair of 2-run home runs tonight. The Rockies have produced a club record now 13 extra base hits as A.J. Morris cautiously comes into the ball game. And he misses twice. 2-0. DJ's at first. He's been on base 5 times. He just walked. Nolan down the line, foul.
A.J. Morris just made his major league debut this week against the Dodgers. Came up from their AAA ball club, Louisville. 6 starts, 3 relief appearances for the Bats of Louisville. Tyler Holt comes off the bench in the double switch.
Yeah, so what they did is they moved Duvall to third and they pushed Suarez to short. Cozart made the last out, so Cozart comes out. So you got Holt at third again. You have Duvall at third, and Eugenio Suarez is at short. And another walk. Well, Diaz walked 4 2/3 of an inning. And they bring in Morris, and he promptly walks Arenado, and here comes Cargo, who has a home run and a line single to left. 9-game hitting streak in which he's hitting .500 on the nose. Coming into tonight's game, the Rockies were 9-13 at home. They had allowed the opposition has scored 10 or more runs 6 times. And the Rockies had scored 10 or more in a game at home only 3 times. Called strike. This ball lined to left center field, and this will touch down and roll to the wall. 1 run is scored, and stop sign for the trail runner Nolan Arenado. Cargo with his 3rd hit of the game. He has a 2 RBI night. And the Rockies have 19 hits and 16 runs.
He just continues to wear out left center and left field. It's a hanging slider on the Subaru Supermo. Another double for Cargo. He has 10 on the season.
Most players are streaky. When Cargo gets hot, I don't know if I've ever seen a player that locks in the way he does and does the kind of damage he does when he's on one of those rolls.
For the length of time that he does it.
Yeah, because
you
usually
see other
not 3 or 4 days.
Yeah,
he
or
lasts
maybe
for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, maybe it might be a week where you're just on one of those rolls, but he does it. Well, heck, last year it was almost 4 months where he was on one of those streaks.
Now Cargo, he becomes the 3rd Rocky night to be a triple shy of the cycle.
And now he's hitting .312.
It's amazing. Story is 0 for 3 and a walk.
Yeah, he needs a hit. He needs to join. Yeah, he needs to join this hit parade.
The 19 hits, a season high. Well, I think there's going to be enough material for Jenny and Spilly and Sully in the postgame.
There better be. The game recap might take him a half hour to get through.
Have to add some time onto the Twitter postgame show this evening. They're hard at work, obviously.
Studying hard.
Jenny clearly bored now in the company of those 2 clowns. You see that? I mean, you want to talk about disinterest. Oh, now obviously somebody gave her the word.
Nicole, the producer, next to Jenny,
Nicole,
she told him. Yeah,
she's
putting the headset
Nicole's
on now.
working. Yes, we resemble that remark. 2-2 on Trevor. That's up high. 3-2. Five in the first for the Rockies, 2 in the second, 1 in the third, and then they did not score in the 4th or the 5th, 3 in the 6th, 5 here in the 7th. And I keep looking up and I have to remind myself there's still nobody out.
No outs.
Story, the 8th man to hit here in the 7th, and he fouls that one off. Stink needs to take the.
What?
You know what? I think Mark will do it. And
superstitious Stink.
Mark's an athlete. He understands.
He knows. Yeah, he knows the
baseball
drill.
guy too. Stink. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Right.
We'll be in LA. That's out of play. You know, this is where, Huey, if you had a 40-man, you know, in September with a 40-man roster, you have extra bodies on the bench. Both clubs would like to switch out some regulars right now. You know, Brian Price would like to get Joey Votto off his feet. You know, he's not going to play Brandon Phillips, so he's got. Yeah. I mean, his bench is pretty much done with.
This would be a time in spring training when you see some 98s and 99s going into the game.
Right. 3-2 again on Trevor. One out.
Left fielder, number 8,
Bring up Gerardo Parra. Is every Rockies player a triple shy of the I lost track. Pretty much.
Just 3 guys.
Ball to deep center field. Hamilton's going to make the catch. Tagging and coming on home is Nolan with the Rockies' 17th run. Parra with a sac fly, his second RBI. The 17 runs ties a season high set in San Francisco earlier this year when the Rockies beat the Giants 17-7. Descalso started the onslaught in the 7th by walking. Let's take a look at what this in-game box looks like. Looks like a lot of guys helped out their average today. LeMahieu 4 for 4. 3 more hits for Cargo, 3 hits for Parra. 3 for Tony Walters. That's a first in Tony's career. And this ball is hit well, but it'll be caught in left field by Tyler Holt. And Cincinnati can reacquaint themselves with their coaching staff as they finally get back to the dugout. The Rockies put up 6. First grand slam of the season for the Rockies off the bat of Charlie Blackmon. He's got a 2-homer night. Time for the Kubota pitching performance of the night. John Gray, a solid 6 innings, 3 runs, 5 hits, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. John gave up a pair of home runs in his last inning of work, but he will come up with his 3rd victory of the year. 2 straight. 2 straight where they really needed a victory. Stops 3-game losing streaks in his last 2 outings. Rockies 17 runs on a season high 19 hits, a club record 13 extra base hits. Defensively, Tony Walters moved out from behind the plate to shortstop. That doesn't happen every day in the big leagues. Dustin Garneau with the gear on. Justin Miller is doing the pitching. This is not a gimmick. Tony
No.
Walter's natural position is shortstop.
Right.
Ryan Rayburn also is in the game in right field. Cargo get the rest of the night off.
For Tony, he's played second base already this year. Remember the game down in Arizona? Takes ground balls out there all the time. And for Justin Miller, his 20th appearance of the season. 24 strikeouts and 21 in the third inning. And right down the middle, top of the Subaru strike zone.
And that'll get through the right side of base hit. Billy Hamilton on.
Don't forget, live Rockies baseball is back in 2016 with MLB.com at bat on your smartphone or tablet. Stay connected with stats, news, and much, much more.
Joey Votto, a home run to the opposite field his last time up, 1 for 3. Rockies put the shift on. This ball's well hit. Rayburn coming on, had a lot of topspin on it. Adam Duvall with 1 out. Another question from Mark. What advice would you give youngsters who desire to play at the next level? For youngsters, be intentional in everything you do. Lucky has the smell of perspiration. Yes, it does. Well put.
Well, thanks again to Mark for joining us tonight.
Yeah, a lot of fun. And again, Stick will be back with us next Tuesday because
he has to.
It's just, that's how it works.
You've had the night that the Rockies have had offensively. Makes it easy to bring him back when we're in LA. Hint, hint.
Yeah. I'm with you. Two and one on Duvall. Two and two. Strikeout of Adam Duvall. 2 outs. And that'll bring up Jay Bruce.
Right fielder, number 32, Jay Bruce.
Bruce a double and a home run tonight. That is not a stolen base for Billy Hamilton. And another hit for the right fielder, and Bruce is going to end up with a triple out of this. 17-4. So Jay Bruce drives in Billy Hamilton.
4th triple this season for Jay Bruce.
That's the triple that LeMahieu, Cargo, and Parra need.
Jay Bruce, he has a double, a home run, and now a triple on the evening. A couple RBIs.
Yeah, he has the easiest path to a cycle. There's only one problem. It's highly unlikely he's going to get up again. Eugenio Suarez pops this up, playable right next to home plate, and the catch is made by Garneau to end the inning. So a single and a triple. 17-4, the Rockies lead as we go to the bottom of the 8th.
Adam Ottavino looks on earlier today, his 2nd live BP since coming back from Tommy John surgery. I want you to watch Otto throw to Eric Young, EY, the slider, and he buckled. Had some fun. Aaron Munoz, the backup catcher, was in the box as well. And for a 2nd straight time against Ottavino, it was Vinny Castilla, and he threw him some sliders as well. It was a good day. 25 pitches for Adam as he continues his comeback. And EY guys told me that he had never seen a slider like that, at least not recently, and had some fun with it. See him buckle?
Yeah, I can't wait until the guys he's facing are in other color uniforms.
And they buckle.
Yep.
I don't blame EY or Vinny for those guys. That takes a lot of courage to stand in there against that slider.
You can tell he's really excited about where he is, and he knows this long journey is nearing an end where he can get back on a big league mound.
Start to see some of the light at the end of the tunnel. Lonely rehab days that you're just doing all the arm exercises, the shoulder work.
Number 6, Ryan Rayburn.
Ryan Rayburn will come up, 2nd at bat for Ryan. Stayed in the ball game after coming in last inning. Took Cargo out the day after every Rockies win. Get 50% off your online order at Papa John's. Use the promo code ROCKSWIN at papajohns.com. I think it's safe to say you'll all be able to do that tomorrow, all of us. Rayburn off of A.J. Morris. And he recovers to throw out Ryan. So here comes Charlie. I was going to make sure he was hitting. He is. Here's what the Rockies have done tonight. Oh, what a night. The Rockies, 7 home runs, ties a club record. It's a new Coors Field record. The 7 home runs also in Montreal in the 90s. 13 extra base hits is a new club record. 19 hits a season high. 17 runs ties the season high. Blackmon 5 RBIs, first career grand slam. LeMahieu ties his career high in hits, and Tony Walters has a new career high with 3 hits tonight. I think that covers everything.
Well, and a new position for Tony Walters to play shortstop tonight. So
Yeah, let's not leave that out.
Can't forget about that one.
Charlie up for the 6th time. And it's 1-1. Two and one. This ball is loud and deep to left center field, way back and caught in front of the 390 mark by Tyler Holt. Charlie gave it a ride. 17-4 Colorado. Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. What a night for the Rockies and their offense in particular. 17-4 they lead as Justin Miller looking for 3 more outs, and immediately following the 3 outs will join that distinguished group led by Jenny Kapnar. Jenny?
Hey, Drew, we're getting our calculators out, have some great numbers to punch coming up in the postgame show. I'm just excited that it was Oprah Winfrey night here at the ballpark. You get a homer. You get a homer. You get a...
Guess what? We're 2 clowns.
Oh, we are. We know that.
Bozo and Bobo.
And I was looking disinterested because if you have to sit with this, Drew, the whole game, you would also get very disinterested.
Huey and I felt your pain.
Spilly was just playing Take My Breath Away. I couldn't stop listening.
We can't get over the Top Gun references.
You had enough of them in there yesterday, though, I thought.
There's never enough Top Gun references.
That's true.
You can be my wingman anytime.
And scene. We'll see you guys after the game.
All right. The Marks brothers in about 5 minutes. This is Tyler Holt's first at bat. 1-1. Nice running catch Holt just made to probably take a triple away from Blackmon. Inside, 2-1.
Yeah, just too much inside of the Subaru strike zone.
Well, how about Charlie Blackmon's 500th career game, Huey? Is that a memorable one?
For him, sure. Grand slam, another 2 home runs, 5 RBIs on his 500th game.
3 home runs last 24 hours for Chuck Nasty. And Justin Miller walks Tyler Holt. bring up Barnhart, the catcher. Where usually the pitching coach yells out, see how far they can hit it.
Throw right there. You know, Justin's trying to do that. It's nice for John Gray to go out and give you 6 innings to quiet that bullpen down. And we talked about it in yesterday's game, and Jake McGee into the game. He was the last guy out there. He was the last guy standing. They needed him to come in and throw an inning.
This is loop to shallow left. And Parra will get there, 1 out. Big thank you to our friend Mark Schlereth for joining us tonight. It worked out very, very well. Good night, people. Thanks for all the questions. Let me take over on Twitter. Nothing but love from Mark Schlereth. Mark now some of that green chili and put his head on the pillow.
I like that green chili. And a couple
good stuff.
Couple of cans or whatever, cartons, packages in my house.
It's stinking good, right?
It is stinking good.
De Jesus with a base hit in his first at bat.
Containers, I guess, is containers of the green chili.
Fouled off. What else would they be in?
Well, I said jars. They're not jars. I just couldn't think of the word that they come in.
It's been a long night. We're with you.
A lot of hits, a lot of fun tonight.
Big fun. Yesterday was painful for the Rockies. Justin ahead 0-2 on De Jesus. Miller set a club record last year, struck out 8 guys in a row. Pulled that fastball. 2-2.
Ground ball to Tony at short. Watch him turn it. That's what I want to see.
Well, there's 1. There's 2. Ask and you shall receive.
There
Huey.
you go.
You know what? You've been you're like Cardock tonight. And a fitting way for the ball game to end. Tony Walters playing shortstop, beginning a 6-4-3. Historic night for the Rockies. They've defeated the Reds 17-4, and they set numerous offensive records in the process. The gang on the Toyota postgame show will tell you all about it. We will tell you that John Gray wins his 3rd of the year. John Moscott takes the loss. He is 0-3. Here's our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. The Rockies tie a club record with 7 home runs. Charlie began the day for the 2nd straight day with a home run. Then a couple doors down, it was Arenado. Then DJ went deep. Cargo goes opposite field. That's 4 if you're counting. Parra goes dead central. And then it's Nolan again, his 2nd 2-run home run of the night. And then the first career slam for Charlie Blackmon, a 2-home run night, 5 RBIs as he celebrates his 500th career game. What a night for the Rockies offense. They win it 17-4, and with that, we go to center field. Here's Jenny, Corey, and Spilly.
Should be a fun Toyota post-game show, Drew. Thanks so much. Quick, favorite home run of the night. There were 7 of them.
Charlie's last one, that was loud.
You like that one? I like Nolan's 2nd homer because I called it.
That's true.
I like DJ's. He came in strong. We got lots of home runs to show you, lots of offense that's coming up on the Toyota post-game show.